Raphael Recanati International School was established about 18 years ago, but IDC Herzliya was established almost 25 years ago in 1994 on this, what used to be an anti-aircraft base of the Israeli Air Force, which we turned into a university back in 1994. It's the first private and nonprofit university in the state of Israel, and we have about 7,000 students studying on campus. We, at the Raphael Recanati International School, we take very good care of our students. We try to protect them from the bureaucracy, and that's very important. And that's an extra, okay, in addition to academic excellence, we take care of our students. And the other thing which I think makes us different is the fact that 1/3 of the student body at IDC Herzliya is actually studying in the English language. So basically 1/3 of this campus is international. So you walk into the cafeteria, you hear different languages. You should also know that we have a fully accredited academic degree here. And what's, I think, also very important about IDC Herzliya is the fact that there's a tremendous added value to just walking into a classroom, because in a classroom you're going to be with students who have national characters from so many different countries and places in the world. So when you hear them ask a question or when they say something, you're basically learning the mentality of someone who comes from a totally different place at times. I think the professors learn a lot from the students because they have an opportunity of basically learning about the backgrounds of people from 70 different countries who are here, who speak 28 different languages. And so basically we are the most international university in the state of Israel in absolute terms and in relative terms. Of all the international students in Israel, 40% of full-time international students in Israel who study for academic degrees study at IDC Herzliya. We only make up 1% of the student body of all of Israel, but 40% of the international students actually study here, and it's close to 2,000 students. And if you were to count the 3 or 4 major universities of Israel and count all of their full-time students, they would still have less than what we have at IDC Herzliya. So to a great extent, we are I would say that's our added value, and that's part of our flagship. We believe in an interdisciplinary concept in that when we teach something, we don't think we should homogeneously teach something. We think we should be heterogeneous. So if you're going to study government, you'll also study some microeconomics and macroeconomics. And if you study communications, you may be studying some psychology along with it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We mix things up. Louis Brandeis used to say, in the United States, he was a famous Supreme Court justice in the United States, and he used to say, don't become the enemy of your client. In other words, if you're going to be a good lawyer, let's say, make sure you also know something about sociology, something about economics, something about business, something about human nature. Otherwise, you're just going to look at things in a very one-sided fashion and not get the best break for your client. The other thing that you need to know about this university is that we are a Zionist university. As Notre Dame is Catholic, and as Georgetown is Jesuit, and as Yeshiva University is a Yiddish place, okay, we are Zionist. We are Zionist in the humane aspect of Theodor Herzl, Vladimir Jabotinsky, David Ben-Gurion, Menachem Begin, that kind of Zionist. It's a Zionism of liberalism, of humanism, and it reflects itself very much on this campus because such a high percentage of students actually decide to immigrate to Israel from this place, making us basically a par excellence academic absorption center in this country. Part of that Zionism also reflects itself on the fact that we care very much about our students who serve in the IDF. We care very much about our reservists. In fact, when people apply to this university and they are graduates of combat units, that can actually give them a point or two. In the Israeli track, mainly in the Hebrew track, where we have many combat officers from the IDF, we don't even make those individuals write the psychometric exam or the SAT. They can be accepted based on their high school credentials. Other aspects about Zionism, I would say, are that the ideology of this place is to train a new cadre of leaders for the state of Israel, for the Jewish people, and for the world at large. And part of humane Zionism means that we also respect minorities in Israel. We respect people of different different ethnic backgrounds, colors, creeds, etc. And we have a number of Christian students on this campus, a number of Muslim students on this campus, a number of Buddhist students on this campus, and obviously Jewish students. The Raphael Recanati International School is mainly Jewish, but we have many other groups as well. We also believe in the concept that our students are our partners. All ideas and innovation and entrepreneurship on the part of the students is something which is respected here. Many of the extracurricular activities which exist on campus, these are all extracurricular activities and clubs which were begun by students through their own initiatives and through their own entrepreneurship. Okay, this is our global village. Global village meaning that you can actually see the breakdown of where students come from. Less than 1/3 of the students here come from North America. Most of our students actually come from Europe. Most of our students come from Europe. We do have students also coming from Africa and from Asia and Oceania. And we even allow some Israelis in, as you can see up here, if they behave themselves, of course. Okay, these are the various schools that for which we have bachelor's degrees in. You can readily read them. I don't know if I could just tell you that it's business administration, psychology, government, business and economics, government and sustainability, computer science, and communications. We have graduate programs here. You can see global MBA, MA in government, MA in financial economics, one-year MBA program, MA in healthcare innovation, that's a new one, healthcare innovation for those who are in biotech, organizational behavior, OBD. The MA in government, by the way, is divided into a couple of tracks. One is diplomacy and one is counterterrorism, okay? Okay, now study abroad programs and one semester programs. We do have those here. A minority of the students actually come here. Some of them come here to study for one semester here from different universities in the United States, such as BU, Cornell, and other places. And we have exchange programs as well, where actually in the third year of your studies, you can actually go overseas and study on an exchange program such as Washington University of St. Louis or George Washington University, or you could go to Singapore, or you can go to various schools in the United Kingdom, and Germany, the Czech Republic, Italy. I think there's about 70 different universities where you can actually go as an exchange student. You just have to have good grades and be ready to take a semester off in your third year. And so I discussed some of those exchange programs already. Here are some of the names of those other exchange programs which I didn't mention possibly. There's some in China, some in Korea, United States, Southern California, USC, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We also have a Mincha Maariv Club. So if you want to be on the Mincha Maariv Club, get onto their WhatsApp. Their WhatsApp is a serious WhatsApp. They're ringing every few minutes. Like around 1:30, 1:15, they're knocking off Mincha in different places. Then around 5:15, 5:30, they're knocking off Maariv. And now it's Rosh Chodesh, so they're knocking off Shachrit in the mornings here. They've got minions. There's a JLIC on this campus. IDC Suites. It's like a hotel here. So some sort of a fancy schmancy hotel here. I don't know what these guys did exactly. Anyway, next year we're going to have dormitories, which will be ready at any given time between September and January of next year. So just go with the flow. And basically what will happen is this. Those dormitories will be ready during the upcoming academic year. Okay? There are Masa grants available for those of you who come here as tourists. Okay? There are FAFSA-approved loans for U.S. citizens. There are also, by the way, Canadian-approved loans for those of you who come from Canada. There are need-based scholarships available for those of you who wish to apply for a socioeconomically oriented scholarship. It's for people whose parents are on the lower side of the socioeconomic situation and need assistance. And so basically when you compare the tuition of IDC to the United States of America, it's pretty competitive because in America you may find yourself paying $40,000 or $50,000 tuition before you pay for the dorms, et cetera, et cetera. And as far as Europe is concerned, there are some European countries that charge tuition, like the United Kingdom, and there's some who don't. And there are some European countries like Germany or the Scandinavian countries who actually also give you grants if you study in Israel, so that's another form of getting a scholarship. So it's all about where you're born. Okay, so student services on campus. We've got a study skills center. That's for people who need to basically improve their study skills. So like we have workshops on how to concentrate on exams. It's kind of like learning how to manage your time. So if you have ADHD like me, okay, you definitely need a workshop like that. As I said, we're a large academic center. We are networking. We believe we have an open door policy. We also look at personal profiles. So if you're missing 2 points, but you were the greatest poet Toulouse ever saw at the age of 17, we'll take a look at that biographical sketch. We'll look at it, okay? If you were an officer in the IDF, we'll take a look at that, or a leader. Or if you were a leader in a Zionist youth movement, for example, we'll take a look at that. Or if you did some amazing things in human rights. Let's say you were in 11th or 12th grade and every summer you went out and you just volunteered to help African Americans in the city center of Chicago or Detroit. You did things like that. We're going to be taking a look at that, okay, because it makes you a more well-rounded individual. So we like that kind of thing. So we do take a look at that. And there are some disadvantages to being here as well. It's a very high academic level. So if you're coming here to goof off, don't come. Okay, yeah, you're going to have to really study hard in order to succeed on your exams. And you also need to be independent and mature and flexible. Like if you've never been away from your bedroom in your house and your mom takes you to school every day when you're a senior in high school, you know, and that kind of stuff. If you've never been out of the state or the city, and maybe this is not a good time for you to come here. Develop some independence, but if you are an independent and mature individual and you can roll with the punches, then definitely come here. And even though you're far away from home, we definitely make the students really feel like a family here. This is not merely a university which strives to achieve academic excellence. This is a university that treats the students as partners, treats the students as being part of the family. And frequently parents call and ask about their kids, and probably parents call when they probably wouldn't call some universities in the States the way they call us, because I guess it's like Jewish parents. And non-Jewish parents have a tendency to act like like Jewish parents also when their kids are in Israel, which is fine, and we welcome it. And we welcome the interaction with the parents and with us. Frequently, by the way, parents open their homes to us and have parlor meetings in their homes. And some of the parents, by the way, even donate money to IDC Herzliya to help some of the students who are not as well off as their kids are. So it's one big family, and it's very nice. And having said all of that, before the camera, I welcome anyone who wants to come to IDC to come here. You want to send me an email? I'm Jonathan D. at IDCACIL. Okay, you can send me an email. Not afraid of emails. Not even at 4 in the morning or 2 in the morning. So send me an email because that's the way we are. We keep no distance between us and the students. Okay, you can send an email to the vice president. You'll get an answer, and not from some personal assistant, from me.